In this class, I will introduce what I believe are the 10 most important verbs in Spanish. There are many lists on the internet. I've seen a few of them, and I never agreed 100% with each list I've seen on the web. This is always an arbitrary list that each one makes up. So somebody may not agree with my list, right? It's always arbitrary. However, I will share with you the reasoning behind why I chose these 10 verbs as the most important ones. And I'm sure my reasoning is pretty accurate. So I think it's a good idea to learn these 10 verbs, okay? So the reason why I came up with this list is because a few students were asking me for the most important verbs in Spanish, okay? So, okay, this time I decided to introduce these verbs, okay? Good. What makes us believe that one verb is more important than the other one? Of course, which verb is more used in a basic or everyday conversation, okay? But also, which verb is used as with more than one function. What do I mean with more than one function? For example, in English, the verb to do is very important. It means to do, like when we are doing something, but it's also used as auxiliary verb when we build sentences in the past or in the negative, like do not do this, or did you go to work? Okay, so the verb to do is essential, right, for building sentences. The verb to have is essential. It's an auxiliary verb for many tenses, like for example the past perfect. Have you eaten today? Right? We use the verb to have. So some verbs have more than one function, and that makes them very important. So the first four verbs, the most important four, I would say these are arguably the most important ones. So any list that does not include these as the most important is crap, okay? So ser means to be, and estar means to be, okay? Haber and tener also mean to have, right? So haber means to have, tener means to have. Ser means to be, estar means to be. So it's pretty obvious why these four verbs are so important. I would say the top four, okay? Ser, estar, haber, tener. Now, with a lower importance, I would include these two maybe, okay? Right, as fifth and sixth place. Ir means to go, and and poder means can, okay? So you can see how important the verb can is in English. It's a modal verb, okay? I cannot go, I cannot stay. Can I go, ta 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 ta? So can is very essential. So is poder in Spanish. And ir means to go, right? So not only the verb to go is essential, right? Because it's a verb we use a lot. But also it has another function. The verb to go, we use it in the future tense, right? For example, we can say, I will go to the supermarket, right? But we can also build the future tense with the verb to go. We can say this, I am going to go to the supermarket, right? We can say, I will go to work, or we can say, I'm going to go to work. We can say, I will eat, or I'm going to eat. I'm going to have lunch. I'm going to watch this film, okay? In Spanish, also, we can use the verb ir, to go, for the future tense, right? We can say, voy a comer, for I will eat. Voy a mirar televisión, I am going to watch TV, etc. So, you can see how important the verb ir is in Spanish, okay? So, poder, it's also quite obvious, is the verb to can, the verb can, sorry. Now, in a lower seventh position, I would include the verb querer, okay? Why is querer so important? Because querer, not only querer works with nouns like I want an apple, I want a book, I want a computer, but it works as if a modal verb. I mean, it works together with other verbs, right? Like I want to eat, I want to go, I want to work, I don't want this anymore, I don't want to stay at home, etc. Right? So querer is almost as a modal verb, right? It's to want. Okay? So querer is essential. Now here's where it gets more controversial, right? So these verbs, somebody else can make up a different list with where these last verbs may differ. Okay, so I chose these verbs as 8th, 9th, and 10th place, and I'll tell you why. Again, not only these verbs are very used in basic conversation, right? But they also have like a second function, or they are used for special cases. Okay, what do I mean? Ver means to see. Okay, but it's also used like it's also used in cases we don't necessarily mean to see, but we are want to mean like I understand, I know, I'm aware of something. Like for example, veo que te quedaste en casa. I can see that you have stayed home, right? Or I'm aware of the fact that you stayed home. Veo que estás enojado. I can see you're mad at me, okay? Now, the verb creer, which is to believe, right? Creo que me siento mal. I think I'm not feeling well. Creo que no fuiste a trabajar. I think you didn't go to work. Okay? And last, the verb decir, which means to say, right? Or to mean. Why do I mean to mean? Because if I say in Spanish, let's say I'm giving an explanation, and then I say, digo que lo que tú estás diciendo. When I say digo, I'm saying that I'm implying, or that I'm meaning this, or I'm wanting to say this. Okay? So digo has means to say, but it's also used very frequently in the middle of a conversation, like to clarify, to reaffirm or to reassure what we are saying. Okay? So I would say the 4 core verbs are these 4, okay? So no list can omit these 4 verbs. Now, in a lower rank, I would say these 2, ir and poder, then maybe querer, and these would be a bit more controversial. Somebody else may have a different choice. Okay, for me, I chose these as to complete the list of the 10 most important ones. Ser, estar, haber, tener, ir, poder, querer, ver, creer, and decir. So most of these are irregular verbs. Let's see, maybe all of them. So, as usual, in English, this happens also. The most important verbs are irregular verbs, okay? So maybe in a future lesson we'll conjugate these verbs, and we'll see a few examples using these verbs. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.